Number one thing you're looking for when they draw, what is it?
Oh, it's where journalism's going to draw, or the horse I like, where he is going to draw. That's always number one. And number two is who's going to get the rail, because I do think Chris did point out, hey, these inside post positions, it's not as bad as it used to be. It's still not absolutely ideal, though. I'd still rather be towards the outside versus the inside. So who draws the 1, the 2, the 3? Are they serious contenders, and will that hinder their chances? Now, some horses, when they draw inside, if they're horses that like to come from way out of it, maybe it's not going to be too big of a deal. But those middle of the pack horses or horses that have early speed, where they draw really makes a big difference. So yeah, where does my horse that I want to bet draw, and then who gets that inside post?
And not selfish at all there, right? Where's my pick? That's what I want to know. Where's he going to end up? For me, it's where does the speed draw? Because when you have these draws, and I agree with you, and we'll talk about the post positions and the pluses and minuses for certain spots, but the speed and where they draw affects the pace. If you have speed inside or speed outside, you are generally going to see a faster pace because they have to use a little bit more out of the gate, and they know that to be able to move forward. I also want to know if any horse is stuck between speed horses. If there's speed in 6, speed in 8, who's in 7? Because immediately you know they're not going to break very well because they're going to have 2 horses fire out in front of them, and most likely you're going to see that outside horse move over to the inside horse, and all of a sudden the horse in the middle is negatively affected by it. So for me, it's all about where that speed draws. Now, let's take a look here at the first 10 post positions that we're going to see in the Kentucky Derby. So 1 through 10, and historically how well they have won the race. You're going to see that there with a percentage, and then how much they've hit the board. So in the money, first, second, or third. The last winner is in the third column, and then the last horse to run in the money is the fourth. And we start out here with the inside. Posts 1 through 4 traditionally not been very good posts in the Kentucky Derby. Now, you'll see the win stats and the in the money stats a little bit higher for some of those. You've got to remember this takes into account every single Kentucky Derby. We didn't have 20 horses in the field forever, Aaron. Once we went to 20 horses, we've really seen the wave of horses move from the outside to the inside negatively affect inside runners. What horse, so let's say journalism draws the 3 posts, the 2 posts. Is that a big problem for journalism? Or do you think that that's something he can overcome in this spot?
Look, he can overcome it. There have been situations where horses will get kind of trips you didn't think were going to happen from the inside post, but I do not want him in 2 or 3 at all. Again, can he overcome it? Yes. But does it make his job that much tougher? Yes, it absolutely would. And I think, you said, hey, we haven't had 20 horses forever. You look at the 1 hole, you look, okay, 8.4% winners. That's not horrible. Then you look, 1986 was the last time a horse won from the rail. And then you look, the last horse to hit the board was 2017. It was Looking at Lee, and it was from a closer who, if you go back and watch that race, he just got a beautiful dream trip. I heard Steve Asmussen talking about it today. Actually, I was watching a video. He's like, I actually thought out of all my Derby runners, Looking at Lee, other than Epicenter, I thought he was going to win it at most points during the stretch, and he just couldn't get there. So there can be perfect scenarios that come out, but on average, journalism in 1, 2, 3, even 4, I'm not going to feel just great about that. I remember Curlin, who was the sire of journalism. Curlin drew post 2, and it cost him the race because, like you said, there was speed on the inside, there was speed on the outside. He gets sandwiched. All of a sudden, he's 5-6 lengths further back than where he wanted to be.
Now, we saw Sierra Leone last year hit the board, almost win the race from that 2 post. Mystic Dan wins from the 3 post. One thing I want to note about both of them, they were both dead closers, right? Way back of the pack and then going to make one big run. I think the inside, and we'll talk about this at the outside as well, it's not as bad if you're a closer, right? It's these middle of the pack horses that want to be 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, somewhere in that range that get stuck on the inside. They end up 15th because, again, there's just a wall of horses that goes over on them there. And then the other thing, I think Chris mentioned this, since we've moved away from the auxiliary gate to the 20 post gate, there's a little more room on the inside. So this first stall is 1 stall out from the rail. That gives you a little more maneuverability, which means the 3 now is like what the 2 was, or the 4 was before. So you're actually having an advantage to move 1 out there as well. So not nearly as deadly. Now, if you look at the 6 through 10 posts or the 5 through 10 posts, Aaron, this is where you want to be. This is the heart of the field. You have that 6 post at 2.1%. That's an anomaly, folks. There just haven't been many good horses that are sitting in that 6 post. If you could pick your spot, you want to be between 5 and 10, right, Aaron?
Absolutely. If I trained a horse or owned a horse and you gave me my choice and I got the first choice, I'd hang the jockey silks on number 7. I just think that's a perfect post, right? But you're right. 5 through 10, that's where you want to be. Anything, I mean, even like 11, 12, 13, we'll get to in a second. That's okay as well. Just those middle posts are where you want. Any trainer that they've talked to, they'll say, "Hey, just give me a middle post. I don't care where it's at as long as it's in that range of like 5 through 12, we'll be fine." So these are the ones you love. If you're a speed horse, you're fine. If you're a horse that likes to sock the pace, you should be okay. Save ground a little bit. And even if you're in the middle of the pack, you can save ground on the turns and be good.
The other key about the middle of the pack is that generally you get to still make decisions as a jockey. If you're stuck on the inside, you're probably closing and you're going to have to do it up the rail. If you're all the way on the outside, you're probably going to have to close and you're going to be wide into the first turn. It's very difficult to get around that. These middle posts, you can kind of decide, do I want to be in the 2 path, the 3 path? Do I want to be closer to the pace? Do I want to back off? It just simply gives you more options. Now, looking at the posts 11 through 20, what jumps out to me specifically is, first off, you're going to hear the curse of the 17 post. No one has ever won the race from the 17 post. I think it's kind of an anomaly that no one's ever won. But if you look at the win percentages in the 17, 18, and 19, 5.4 and 3.2, clearly bad posts. I can't explain why the 20 post is won 10% of the time. We saw Rich Strike win from that post. We saw Big Brown win from that post. Country House was the 20 post. I'm sorry, Country House was the 18 because of scratches, but number 20. So you've seen winners out of that post, but it's still not one that you want, Aaron.
No, it's not. And I mean, I think if you're a closer, again, you got a little bit better of a chance. But again, you're going to have to cross all the way over, because you still, if you break 20 and you want to close, you're still going to have to cross like 10 links over to get in that position. So I don't know why 20 is kind of the standout there of like, that's weird. I think the thing is, the one advantage you have, you stay away from the mess if you're way outside. You're going to have to concede that you're going to go wide, but you do stay away from the wall of horses onto your inside there. So that could be the big reason. 17, it's going to happen someday. They've won all around it. 17, that curse will be broke one day.
Yeah, it is interesting when you look at these posts, though, and you look at the years that they were last won in. You've got winning colors in the 11, it's 1988. The 12 is 1971. You've got Nyquist, 2016 from the 13 post, Kerry Black. 1961 from the 14 post. A lot of years in there that's not anytime close. And a lot of the horses on the second half of the page, too. Phenomenal, like all-time level horses who had a shot at winning the Triple Crown. You got Authentic sitting there in the 15 post. That was a horse that went on to win the Breeders' Cup Classic. So if you want to be one of these outside posts, it feels like outside of, no knock on Rich Strike or Country House, but outside of those two, you got to be a very, very good horse to get the job done from outside the 11 post.
Absolutely. You got to be much the best. You got to be much the best. Like when Big Brown drew the 20, he was just much the best. He would have won from anywhere, maybe except the rail, right? So you got to be better than the rest of the field by quite a bit to win it, or you just got to have luck like Rich Strike had.